Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I can hear you too. We're
Perfect.
good. All right. From the Kaplan Athletic Center in Newburgh, New York, this is the Mount St. Mary College Athletics YouTube channel. This afternoon, the Mount women's basketball team hosts Old Westbury. Hi, everyone. I'm Nikolai Busko. Lucas Stackpole will be along in a moment. Thanks for joining us. Mount played at SJLI on Wednesday and lost a game it probably should have won. Mount led by 11 in the fourth quarter, but lost to SJLI 6-63. The Knights now 2-3 this season, 2-1 to the Skyline. Aaron LaFaro had a three-point play with 32 seconds left to give Mount the lead, but SJLI responded with a bucket with 17 to go, and LaFaro missed a layup with 7 to go. Sarah Cashin led Mount with 15 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks. For Old Westbury, they played at St. Joe's, Brooklyn on Wednesday. St. Joe's outscored Old Westbury 22-9 in the second and coasted to victory 65-37. Old Westbury now 0-7 with an average margin of defeat of 33 points. They have not come close at all this season. 3-21 last year, 2-18 the Skyline, 0-10 on the road, 2-21 2 years ago, 8-14 the year before that. Oh, and one more thing. Old Westbury appears to only have 8 players on their team today. So, Lucas, what are the things that maybe Mount can do differently or more intensely to take advantage of the short bench?
Well, we were talking about this before the broadcast, Nick. Old Westbury has really struggled just the whole year and, frankly, these last few years. The negative 33-point differential is going to be a huge – this is a stat that jumps off the page, really. And Mount St. Mary, like you said, a tough loss against St. Joe's Long Island. This is exactly the kind of game you want to hopefully right the ship. I mean, you're 2-0 in conference going into Wednesday's contest. You take that tough loss. You want another conference matchup to try and get the ship right as fast as you can.
Petrie can't get it to go, but fouled on the rebound is LaFaro. Should go to the line. As Old Westbury, again, because they have a short bench, cannot afford to get into foul trouble early.
And I expect the Knights to exploit that, Nick. I think the Knights are going to try and go to work inside, get as many points at the point as possible, and to your point, try and draw as many fouls as possible.
LaFaro makes the first one, so the scoreboard is no longer bare. She's got them both. She's eating her veggies, and Mount will take the early lead. Let's see what Old Westbury does on offense now. Again, only 8 players, so conditioning themselves will be very important. Pineda lost the handle. It's on the bottom somewhere, and it's ultimately kicked back out and off the window and in for Estrella. Tremendous tenacity by Old Westbury out of the gate.
That's a solid effort there. I mean, turns nothing into something. I thought that possession was a goner for sure as soon as everybody went to the ground. Good effort there to get it off the ground and into the basket.
From the right corner, Guglielmo for 3. Can't get it to fall, and the rebound is pulled down and brought back up quickly by Kama. Kama works back out to Pineda. Go ahead, sir.
The Knights are going to want to shoot. That's been their game plan. At least in the 2 years I've been here, they've prided themselves on the three-point ball. If they can keep getting those open looks, they're going to start to fall.
And that one is a beautiful stroke from Jayla Pineda. Old Westbury has the lead. Guglielmo back out now for Petrie. Doesn't shoot. Gets closer. Yes! Great decision by Petrie to come a little bit closer. Don't need a 3-ball right now. Just go station to station.
Passing up good opportunities can lead to great ones.
Pineda looking to make a play. She does for Kama. Kama on her is Petrie. Lets it fly. That one's a bit too long, and it's pulled down by Aaron LaFaro. Mount quickly as Petrie had an open lane, passed it off. Shot doesn't go, but the rebound is going to be missed. And getting hacked on a third attempt is Trinkus. She'll go to the line as a foul is going to be against, looks like it'll be against Olivier. That's her first. Team second, 1:55 in.
I mean, offensive rebounds are going to be your best friend, Nick. If you can miss the first one and get the ball back 2 or 3 more times and either get points or go to the line, you're in a pretty good spot. And we're 2 minutes into the contest, and like you said, that's already 2 fouls on Old Westbury.
The starters for Old Westbury, Estrella, Olivier, Pineda, Lewis, and Kama. For Mount St. Mary, Petrie, Guglielmo, Trinkus, LaFaro, and Love. And only 3 spares on the Old Westbury bench. Pineda looking around as Love is putting some heat on her. Matched her stride for stride, but I think they say that Love got a hand in there somewhere, or at least a fingertip, and that's probably an unnecessary foul because her feet were moving.
Fast start for Old Westbury for a team these past 7 games, shooting 26% from the field. To start 2 for 3 and looking really solid on offense to start, this has to feel good.
Estrella, a bit too long. It'll be pulled down by Guglielmo. Hurrying it up for Love. Long pass over to Petrie, who doesn't shoot. Again, wise decision. In comes Love. Can't get it to fall. And a rebound is pulled down quickly by Lewis. Transition quickly. Estrella. A bit too long. And Mount will control again. More energy than I expected from Old Westbury out of the gate, given the short bench. We'll see if they can make it work for 40 minutes.
And I'm right there with you. This certainly exceeds. Good look for Guglielmo here. No good.
She just missed it, but crashing the boards was Trinkus. She lets that one go, and she'll say she had it all the way. And a timeout's called by Old Westbury. 30-second timeout, and perhaps Bryant Lassiter simply did not like something and he wants to fix it before things get away. 2:56 in, 8-4. Mount is in front. Mount from the field out of the gate is 2 for 8, and Old Westbury is 2 for 6. Mount St. Mary College will hold its final open house of the semester tomorrow. The day will include an MSMC Athletics open house from 1 to 3 here at the Kaplan Athletic Center. This will allow prospective student athletes to meet MSMC head coaches, staff, and potential future teammates. To register, visit msmcnights.com and find the release with the QR code. Yes, that code is still working. I looked at it this morning. We point out that Lucas comes from California, where it was probably very rarely below freezing growing up. How did events like an open house influence your decision to ultimately make the 3,000-mile trek here?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Last year, I went to an open house. I went to an admitted students day, and I met my future teammate, who is now my roommate. So it's nice. It's a nice way, especially for somebody coming from so far. I don't know if any people are going to be in the same boat, any people on the broadcast, but it's a fantastic way to meet people because being on a team, there's camaraderie. It's such an easy way to make friends. And if you're coming to this open house, if you're meeting people you're going to play with, if you're meeting your coaches, it's a perfect start, and it's something you don't have to wait until August to do. Good shot there from Phelan. Or Petrie, sorry.
Petrie continues to look good. 10-4 is the score. 6:35 left here in the opening quarter as Old Westbury just trying to pace itself here, as this one's a bit short from Lewis as it's pulled down quickly by Guglielmo. It's given away, though. Love able to save it, and from her knees able to retrieve it for Petrie. LaFaro is surrounded. Kick back out beautifully to Guglielmo. Can't finish, though. Big offensive rebound, and putting it back in is Trinkus.
That's what I was talking about, Nick. The Knights, if you count the 2 for 2 at the stripe, the Knights have 6 points off of offensive rebounds. And if you can miss those shots and afford to get them back and try again, you're going to be in a wonderful spot.
12-4 is the score, 4 minutes in. Mount looks good so far. Again, because of the loss of the last game of the circumstances, they've got a lot of baking soda and vinegar, to borrow a line from Jaws, paraphrasing it. We're getting a bigger volcano. As that one erupts from Pineda. She puts that one down, and Old Westbury not going away anytime soon.
That's a much-needed basket there.
Guglielmo, yes. Got it off the window and in, and Mount, I think, in part because they do have a bit of a size advantage at the moment, but also because there are fewer players on the bench, might be pushing the offensive glass a bit. That might be where the stamina issue with a short bench may come into play later for Old Westbury.
And we talked about that a little bit prior to the game. The Knights were going to try and attack inside just because of the size advantage. If they're able to draw fouls, if they're able to get this really limited roster, for lack of a better term, if they're able to get the team in foul trouble, they're in a wonderful spot. And I don't think they're going to let up because for the most part, even the shots that haven't gone in, they've been able to get offensive rebounds and turn into second chance points.
Inside 5 minutes, Mount already with 5 offensive rebounds in the ball game. They already have 8 second chance points. And that one's a bit too strong from Kama. We should point out Mount has basically made a bit of a line change here. They've got all 12 players available, by the way, too. So to make matters worse, or at least more uncomfortable for Old Westbury, Donato doesn't shoot. LaFaro does. A bit too short. The other LaFaro able to get a hand on it. It's loose, and it spurts now for Lewis. Lewis looks to curl around. Elizabeth LaFaro cannot, and it's lost out of bounds. It'll go back to the Knights with 4:40 left here in the first. Knights in front 14-6.
Old Westbury has to be able to have the ability to work fast without working too fast. I get the sense, obviously you want to kick in a high gear, but you don't want to do it to the point where you start making mistakes, and we see that there with a bad turnover.
Elizabeth LaFaro. Now for Donato, who lets it fly. Boom! They gave her all the time in the world. She drains that three. And now Mount with the largest lead of the game of 11.
You know, Nick, if they're going to give you that look, take it every time.
Pineda kicks it back out, and
Short.
this one is going to be a bit too short as Olivier did not measure it properly. Donato, long pass down court, received by Cashin, who can't cash in, but she gets her own rebound. Good dish, but not able to make it was Donato.
And one.
But it leads to an and one from Cashin. Ka-ching!
Offensive rebounds, Nick. I feel like that's going to be a theme this whole game. That's 2 offensive rebounds, and it leads to a big chance for a three-point play.
Foul, by the way, is on Estrella. That is her first, team third, with 3:53 left here in the first quarter. Again, on paper, most would say that Mount should win this game and should win it handsomely. Cashin, though, is short. Gets her own rebound. She can do that. Can't make it on the second attempt.
And another offensive rebound.
Donato for three. This one's a bit short. As trying to save it was Cashin, but did not get a triple jump involved. It'll go back to Old Westbury. But right now, it definitely looks like more energy and more size for those offensive rebounds for Mount. That's what's controlling the game right now. So Old Westbury needs to find another way to stay competitive. Pineda looks for a lane. Olivier lets it fly. Can't get the bounce, and it's going to be taken by Quinn. Donato looks around for Quinn. Make sure everybody's on board here. It comes inside, and able to put it in is Kate Hughes. I don't think there's anybody on the court who's more thankful to be playing right now than she is, based on her recovery from last year's injury. 21-6 is the score, 3 minutes left. Pineda. Olivier trying to get it inside. She did. Beautifully done to Lewis. And Old Westbury back at the scoreboard. Lewis with her first bucket of the game.
It's exactly what the doctor ordered. The Knights are compiling a little bit of a run. While it's still a little out of hand, it's definitely good to get one back in the column.
Donato. Elizabeth LaFaro. Hot potato. Not able to get it towards the hoop was Cashin. No foul on the play. It'll just be an inbound with 13 left of the timer. 2:33 left of the opening quarter. 21-8 Mount. Mount shooting 40% from the field. Old Westbury shooting 33%. But the big deal right now is the rebounds. For three. This one's off the front of the rim, and Donato pulls that one down. That is the 10th offensive rebound in the ball game already for Mount. And that's just leading to more opportunities here. We've got a whistle. This one's going to go against Mount. Looks like this one is against Lauren Petrie. No, pardon me. It might be against, it's against Frias, pardon me. So that's her first. Mount second with 2:17 left. No, wait a second. They put it back up. It's against Hughes, I think.
You took the words out of my mouth, Nick. I mean, offensive rebounds, that leads to more opportunities. If you're getting 2 or 3 chances to score every possession, you're bound to make at least one of them, and the Knights are putting that to work right now.
And it puts more pressure on Old Westbury to go 1 for 1. Olivier. That one doesn't make the grade. It'll be pulled down by Quinn. Mount is 1 for 7 from 3 so far in this game. Best to keep pounding it inside. Hughes distributes. Quinn has to get rid of it. Hughes. Donato looking around. Quinn lets it fly for 3. Boom! The mighty Quinn is on the board. As Mount here in the first quarter has 9 players who've scored at least 2 points. For the baseline, Olivia, yes. That's her first bucket of the day.
If you're Old Westbury, you can keep scoring, but you have to come up with an answer on defense. If you're getting beaten inside and outside, there's not too much I can say. Another
Quinn.
Good look.
That one doesn't make the grade, but it's pulled down and brought back to Quinn, who will take 2 scoops instead of 3. Still the same chocolate ice cream that she likes. 26-10 is the score. Old Westbury trying to finish strong here at the end of the first quarter. Pineda goes down, and they say that somebody got a piece of her, so this is going to be against LaFaro, Elizabeth LaFaro. That will be her first, team third here with 41.8 left. Mount has shot 38.5%, Old Westbury 35.7%, but again, because of the rebounds, Mount has had 26 attempts, and Old Westbury just 14.
That's just the beauty of what those second chance boys can do for you. Double the shot attempts, and it reflects in the scoring.
Second chance points so far, Mount with 12. So they've been able to make it work, and it's worked out well.
I mean, I'm a broadcaster. I'm not a mathematician, but usually more chances to score equals more scoring.
Kama. Beautiful stroke from the foul line. Did that so well. Shot clock is irrelevant. As Mount looking for one more play here to finish the first quarter strong. And the expectation is that they would have a good day. So far they have. They'd probably like to make more first shots, but they've been able to box out well on offense and get those boards. Phelan. Into the corner it came for Frias. It's short. Rebound put back up by Cashin. Doesn't find the rim. And time runs out here in the first quarter. Again, the big story here in the first. Mount up 26-12. They have 12 offensive rebounds through the first quarter, none for Old Westbury. 12 second chance points, none for Old Westbury. Leading for Mount, it's actually Margaret Trinkus with 6 points. She's 2 of 3 from the field, has 5 rebounds already, also with 5 rebounds. Sarah Cashin, who has 2 points. Sierra Quinn has 5 points for Mount. And 4 points for Old Westbury. Jayla Pineda also a 4 for Mount. Lauren Petrie. So, is it simply the case that it's not so much an X's and O's thing right now, but speaking plainly, Old Westbury has to do a better job defensively of crashing its own boards?
Oh, absolutely. Because like you said, I mean, 35% from the field is respectable. But when you're letting the other team get double the shot attempts, you're naturally just going to be digging yourself a hole. Old Westbury, they've done a solid job scoring. I mean, could it be better? Yes. But has it been bad? No. But they definitely need to find a way to crash the boards because that is definitely that's the biggest thing keeping them out of this game right now.
This was a relatively cleanly played first quarter. Only 1 turnover by Old Westbury, none for Mount. So the discipline is not the issue right now. It's just a simple case of a taller and bigger and maybe a team in Mount that's playing a little more vinegar based on what happened earlier this week down on the island. So Old Westbury trying to start off the second quarter well. It's on the deck through the legs. And looks like a foul is going to be called against Frias. I think that might have been another unnecessary foul. You just see if nature can take its course and maybe get a backcourt violation on Old Westbury if you're not pushing the issue if you're Frias.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you knock the ball out, you can smell the blood in the water. It's easy to get amped up, and again, just an unnecessary foul, but a solid start on defense so far.
They've kept the pressure on as Pineda looks now for Kama, who lets it go. Off the side of the rim, and wisely letting it go out of bounds will be Phelan, so Mount will hang on to it. Should point out that we don't talk about this stat much with players, I think, sometimes, but Elizabeth LaFaro has 3 assists for Mount. More on what I'm going to say in a moment as bringing it back is Kama. Kama able to freeze everybody and going on a layup, so 3 assists. You like the way that Mount is distributing the ball right now as they're getting it inside.
Absolutely. In the games I've done broadcasting, the basketball team has been very methodical with their passing. They don't rush anything. They don't rush possessions. They take time off the shot clock, and eventually the right shot becomes apparent. That one won't go.
As Cashin thought she had it, and she's not letting go yet. Olivier says mine. And coming back up with an Old Westbury, the Panthers trying to cut into this lead. And able to work off of Elizabeth LaFaro is Jayla Pineda, who's trying to provide a spark right now. The margin is back down to 10.
And just under a minute and a half into the quarter, this is what we were talking about, Nick. The Old Westbury's been able to not get some stops and turn those stops into points.
Phelan now for Quinn. Frias continues to rotate. Quinn.
There's that methodical passing we were just talking about.
They're trying to be patient, surely, and Quinn from the foul line puts that one in. If I know anybody, Marion Dietz was watching Hoosiers before the game. 4 passes, minimum 4 passes. Leads back up to a dozen. Pineda looking to make a good decision on Frias. Kama. Can't get that one to drop, and Phelan will pull down the rebound. His pressing is Estrella. LaFaro looks around. As just sitting back right now are the Panthers, waiting for Mount's next move here. LaFaro. Phelan in the corner. A bit too strong. And it's volleyed and pulled down, and now it's out of the hands of Lewis, and it's put back in. Well, they were definitely in better position, but they couldn't bring it home, and Mount gets an easy bucket. They're back up by 14.
That's been their brand of basketball so far, find a way to get second chances.
Here comes Elizabeth LaFaro. Work it back. Go ahead, sir.
4 passes minimum.
Phelan can't get that one to drop. It'll be taken this time by Lewis. Bit of a press here from Mount, but they'll back off now, and the Panthers looking to just get this game closer again. Olivier, wait a second. She had happy feet, and so it'll go back to Mount. As another line change coming up for Mount here, as it'll be Aaron LaFaro leading the troops back in. Again, Old Westbury only has 3 spares today, but so far, nobody's in real foul trouble just yet. So that's good for them. Phelan. On her is Kama. Trinkus goes off the hands of Aaron LaFaro, and it's brought back quickly by Kama. Kama able to scoop, but can't get Humpty Dumpty to cooperate. That's a tough break. She had everything with the finish. Frias. LaFaro distributes, and no, not able to finish. Was Trinkus a bit too high. It'll be taken down by Kama.
Tough finishes on both ends.
Kama lets it go. Nope, that won't count. They say that she hopped with it. And it'll go back to Mount with 6:23 left here with a second. Quickly here in the second, each team is 2 of 5. Make that 2 of 6 from the field. But still a massive rebound edge for Mount St. Mary, as Old Westbury has not had an offensive rebound yet in this ball game.
And if you're a team like Old Westbury, you're facing a big deficit. The last thing you need to be doing is shooting yourselves in the foot, and that's 2 travels on 2 straight possessions.
Frias was short. It's tied up, and it'll stay with Mount. Donato comes back in. Out comes Frias. They'll revise the shot clock to 20 as Guglielmo gets ready to put it back in. Quinn leads the building with 7, by the way. Donato. Rotated well. Now they go back the other way. In step now for Aaron LaFaro. Beautiful movement. Again, that ball movement is quick.
And that's how they build their offense. That's their brand of basketball. Just pass it enough, and that perfect shot will open up eventually.
This one doesn't go from Pineda, and Mount will control once more. Again, one and done are the Panthers. Donato. Phelan doesn't shoot this time. LaFaro can't get Humpty Dumpty to settle down, but on the rebound, no. He's still fickle this time with Trinkus. It'll stay, though, with Mount, as Old Westbury cannot cleanly field a rebound under the bucket. 5:24 left in the opening half.
If you're getting 2-3 chances to score every possession, you're going to make one of them hurt.
LaFaro gently. Aaron LaFaro now has 6. The margin is 18, and that's the largest of the ball game. Pineda trying to stick her hand into his Trinkus. Backs out. Donato now on Pineda. In it came for Kama. That one is off the window, and it just misses. Transition quickly. A quick strike off the hand of Guglielmo. That was a team transition bucket. And Old Westbury will call timeout as Bryant Lassiter just looking to reboot a router, so to speak. That might be the best way to describe it. Mount is up 36-16 with 4:46 left in the first half.
I mean, yeah, you give up the big play like that, the deficit just only getting bigger so far, Nick. You just definitely need, like you said, reboot the router. Definitely just get your team a deep breath, especially since they're just outmanned, like literally outmanned. It's 12-8 in favor of people on the team. So you definitely just need a timeout, stop the bleeding. Like we said, the Panthers haven't looked bad on offense, they haven't looked bad on offense, but they haven't looked great. But again, the second chance points are really what's killing them.
Right now, it is 18-0, that department, in favor of Mount because the offensive rebounds are 18-0, which tells you that they're batting .500, so there is room for improvement if you're Coach D to this point, making more of those second chances. They don't lead to thirds.
Exactly, and if this game was played only with second chance points, the Knights would be still winning 18-16. So you take those out, you take out all those second chance points, which are relative, and I don't want to say they're an easy fix, but it's not a Herculean task to do so. It would be a 2-point deficit.
When we grow our knowledge, put our skills to use, and help our community, we spark something amazing. Be the spark. Explore service. To learn more about Mount St. Mary College, visit msmc.edu. Again, msmc.edu. So let's see what Old Westbury looks like after the timeout. Trying to pace themselves, but also trying to stay competitive, as Pineda has Donato on her. Now it's doubled, almost making a kick save was Donato, but instead it's put down low and able to bury it is Olivier. Olivier now with 4, the margin back to 18. Donato trying to come around the mountain. Switch back now for Guglielmo. Inside it came, and a foul is called as there was a lot of pressure immediately on Trinkus.
That's a beautiful initial pass inside, and that part of the game plan hasn't changed. The Knights are just going for the jugular in the paint every possession, and so far it's worked.
Kick back out for 3 from Donato. No pot of gold at the end of the rainbow there, and it's brought back by the Panthers. Kama slows it down and brings it back for Pineda. Foul was on Estrella. That is her second. She is the first to 2, by the way, for Old Westbury. Pineda long 2, can't get that one to go, and Donato looks around quickly. Looking for LaFaro, and it's just too far from her. Nice idea, but just a bit too strong on the pass.
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, if that's a good pass, it's an easy 2 points. Just, you can't make every throw.
Even from 60 feet, 6 inches away.
Yeah, and that's, there's a reason I played baseball and water polo in high school. Could I make that pass? Probably not.
Once it's over the plate, you're fine. Pineda looks down for Kama. Kama had it knocked away, but it calls somebody in for a reach-in. It'll be against Love. That is her second. Team second for Mount here in the second with 3:17 left in the half. Deflected by Donato, and wisely did it go over the backcourt line because she can, was Pineda. Pineda looks to get her way in, but it is chucked immediately to Aaron LaFaro, and another counterattack here. Another fast break opportunity buried by Guglielmo. Guglielmo now with 6. She has 6. Trinkus has 6. Aaron LaFaro has 6. Quinn still leads the building with 7. So everybody's getting the act here for Mount. And again, I don't think that was totally unexpected given the situation today. Pineda. Into the corner it came for Estrella. Defers and instead to Hicks, who can't get it to go, but it looks like she'll go to the line here. It'll be against Aaron LaFaro. That is her first, team third, with 2:39 left here in the opening half. Johnny Hicks comes to the line. Makes the first shot.
Big shot there. I mean, if points are at a premium, you take them any way you can get.
She's good. She's the only non-starter in right now for Old Westbury. So we'll see how long she can last in there and give a break for Lewis. Margin is 18. Trying to change that is Guglielmo. Can't get it to drop. Rebounds pulled down by Hicks. And the Panthers will have control, and they can come upstream with it. Pineda. Hands are working so well with that ball right now. Estrella. That one might have been grazed. It might have been blocked by Love. And so Mount will come back with it. A brief open look for Petrie. It's been passed off for a shorter bucket. And it's a wise decision. Trinkus puts it down.
Like you said, Hicks, the only non-starter in for the Panthers. I think this is these dog days, these halves, these quarters. I mean, as we're in the final 2 minutes, that's where you can really tell the lack of personnel. And so far, it's reflected.
Pineda. Well, hand check was involved. Looks like this one will be against the Petrie. Yes, it is. It's against Petrie. That is her first, and that is the team fourth against Mount with 1:41 left here in the half. Pineda, as Petrie is trying to get big. Kama calms it down. Had it knocked away by Trinkus, and it's brought back quickly now for Petrie. Petrie yanks it back for Hughes. A bit too strong. And that was bobbled briefly, and trying to save it was Guglielmo. I think there were too many cooks in the kitchen that time for Mount St. Mary. Brought back now by Pineda.
Good move.
Who can't get it in, but she'll go to the line. Either way, that is Mount's fifth of the quarter. It's going to be against Trinkus, and that is her first. So Pineda, who has 6 points, 2 assists, and 1 rebound so far. First trip to the line is a good one. She makes the first one. Gets the second one to cooperate. She now has 8. That leads her team. And we're coming on the final minute here in the first half. As Mount has cooled off a little bit here in the second quarter. But Trinkus, apparently she can hear me.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a long 2. And she continues to make shots. She's now 4 of 7 from the field. Leads the building with 10 points.
She might have taken that one personally, Nick. That's a good long 2. Good shot.
As long as not Michael Jordan personally, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Estrella. It's tied up. It'll stay with Mount. It'll stay with Old Westbury. Good play made by Trinkus to tie it up. 9 left on the timer, 35.5 left here in the first half. The shooting percentage for Mount right now is a little bit better than it was in the first quarter. They are 8 of 18 from the field, so that's 44. So I think they made some progress on some things here in the second quarter. That's a long shot from Kama. As the shot clock is still active. I think Mount will be patient here. If they see an open shot, they'll obviously take it.
They've been patient most of this half, so it would be pretty out of character to take a shot with anything left on the clock.
Hughes gets the high glass with the left to go in.
Of course, if you can take an open layup, do that instead.
One last opportunity. Pineda off the backboard, and time runs out here in the first half. Mount, 18 offensive rebounds in that first half against an undermanned and undersized Old Westbury team. Leading the building, Margaret Trinkus. She has 10 points, 4 of 7 from the field with 7 rebounds. So she's on her way to a double-double as the Knights have a 44-22 lead over the Panthers at the break. Lucas and I are going to take a siesta. We'll be back with a second half here on the Mount St. Mary College Athletics YouTube channel. Feel good? Yeah, good. You should. Welcome back to the Kaplan Athletic Center here in Newburgh on the Mount St. Mary College Athletics YouTube channel. Along with Lucas Stackpole, I'm Nikolai Busko. Third quarter about to begin. Mount St. Mary leads Old Westbury 44-22. We've already talked about the limited bench that Old Westbury has. What are the things that the Panthers can do besides the obvious getting more defensive rebounds that they can do to chip away at this lead?
I mean, obviously, I think, like you said, far and away the top of the pyramid is getting some defensive rebounds. But now you just have to work in getting stops and scoring on your own. Because, like you said, having a limited bench does not do you any favors. But if you score and get stops, you'll be in a good spot. And if you remember, they opened that second quarter, I believe it was 2 straight stops, and they turned both of those stops into points. So if you can do that more consistently, it's a good start to getting back into this game.
Meanwhile, 2 more second chance points, this time for Trinkus. She now has 12 points on the day, and this will stay with Old Westbury. One of the things that we noticed during halftime is that Old Westbury has only gone to its bench with 1 player. They've only had 6 players check in. All 12 have played for Mount, so it's quite clear that Bryant Lassiter has his team on the floor. He has limited options, but he's not rotating players in and out as much as I thought he would, as Erin LaFaro is able to make that shot. She's on the board. And it is now 48-22, and you have to wonder if the adrenaline may have shut off for the Panthers during halftime.
And just to add to what you were saying, Nick, the only substitute to come into the game for Old Westbury is number 32, Shania Hicks, and she has only come on in relief for number 20, Saki Lewis, which means the Panthers have had 4 starters out there for the entirety of the contest. So I would not be surprised if fatigue starts to become a factor.
Melora Olivier did not look fatigued there. That was a lovely shot, and the margin's back down to 24. Love, long pass. Patience again. As right now, Mount just trying to be very, very careful. It comes to Love, wide open, passes up on the shot. And she's not able to get it to go in, but a clear foul on Olivier. So what are the things that Mount can do better besides making sure when they do get a second chance opportunity that it doesn't lead to a third?
What you talked about, the things the Mount can do better is just score the first time. 18 offensive rebounds, which leads to 19 now, sorry. That's just a high number. So, if you make the shots the first time, you take care of business faster, you're in and out faster, and you score all the same.
Mount right now shooting 42% from the field. Making both shots is Love, as she is on the board, has 4 assists on the day as well. We point out that of the 21 buckets, Mount has 14 assists, so they have spread the ball around well today.
It's hard to find much to nitpick at for this performance for the Mount so far.
As that one from Olivier does not drop in. Long pass down court. Shifted back as Mount just trying to stretch things. Meanwhile, stepping out, let it go for 3 and not getting the rim was Erin LaFaro, but it's kept alive somehow. Petrie will take the shot. This one's a bit short. Love will pull down the rebound, and right now, again, you do get a sense that there's definitely a drop-off in the level of intensity and energy from Old Westbury as Erin LaFaro makes quick work of that opportunity.
Third time's the charm.
Pineda. Foul is going to be called here. This one will be against Guglielmo.
And there's another thing I think the Knights could improve on. If you remember towards the end of the second quarter, the Knights actually sent the Panthers into the bonus. They had 5 fouls. And in a game where you're up 30 points and you've really been in charge the whole contest, you can do without these little pointless fouls. There's another one.
Yes, we've talked about that. That's got to be at least a 3rd or 4th foul in this whole game. This one, by the way, is against Guglielmo. That's her 2nd in short order. They've had a few, though, so it's just a matter of discipline or timing, you think.
Right. You're not getting beaten inside. These aren't fast break fouls. It's just, you get too caught up in playing good defense.
Is it also the case that maybe Mount is trying to impose its will physically, knowing that Old Westbury has a limited bench?
Oh, for sure. I think I would not expect Coach Marion Dietz and the Knights just to go for the jugular here. You're up 30, and they have showed no signs of slowing down. So I would not be surprised if the Knights transition into, I don't want to say bully ball, but definitely a more physical style of offense. Like, hey, we're winning by 30 for a reason.
Guglielmo has a pass, go off a couple of hands. Pineda racing down the right side. And one! As perhaps Trinkus should not have tried to make a play in that instance.
Yeah, for sure, and it comes back to bite you. There it makes sense to foul. That's a solid finish there from Julia Pineda, getting the chance for the three-point play. But there a foul makes sense. But that's already 3, just under 3 minutes into the quarter.
So Pineda, who has 10 points and has done everything humanly possible for Old Westbury, make it 11. She's now 3 of 3 from the line. I don't want to know where we would be in this game without Pineda, who has played well given all the circumstances for the Panthers. In it comes for Trinkus. Gets that one to fall in. Trinkus now has 14 points. She is 6 of 9 for the field with 8 rebounds. She has had a lot go her way today as Pineda looks to carry it back in quickly. Lewis. Olivier. No ma'am. It's pulled down again by Petrie. Throws a jump ball. Well, she's not Tom Brady. Not just anybody's going to come down with that. And it brought back now by Pineda.
And if you're the Knights, I mean, obviously it's a 27-point lead. You're feeling pretty good. But up 27 or up by any big amount is not an excuse to, get too comfortable, get sloppy. I mean, the vision of a baseball pass was there. I just don't think it was thrown into double coverage. I think they could have gone without that one. And you just can't get caught up in, like the fouls we were just talking about. You can't get caught up in these little mistakes just because you're up by this much.
Marion Dietz has just asked the dealer for an entire new hand. 5 new cards have come onto the table. Work habits and focus, I think, might be the top priorities for Mount here in the second half, as long as this game stays with a similar margin. As that one won't go from Elizabeth LaFaro, and it's going to go back to Old Westbury. Looks like this one might be against Frias.
And there's another one of those little fouls. I mean, they have the rebound. I mean, second chance points obviously has been their brand of basketball, but if they have it, just let it lie. And you can afford to let one of those go.
That's Frias' second, team 4th inside of 4 minutes. So right now, Mount needs to realize the game is not over yet. Pineda can't get that one off the glass. It'll be pulled down by Phelan.
For sure, and the Knights are trying to impose their will, and I would encourage them trying to impose their will. They've definitely put themselves in a position to, but you can't just get so caught up in your own agenda where you start forcing turnovers or little fouls, and that's what we're seeing is the beginning of that for the Knights.
Elizabeth LaFaro. It ultimately came back to Frias by way of Cashin. This one is short. It's bobbled by Estrella, but she's able to secure it. That's a big stop in more ways than one for Old Westbury as they are trying to move the needle here in the third quarter. Pineda trying to hypnotize Frias, it looks like. Estrella lets it go for 3. A bit wide. It'll be taken now by Elizabeth LaFaro.
I don't want to say lack of effort, but, I mean, the Old Westbury did no offensive rebounds, but just watching these one-and-done possessions, there doesn't seem to be any effort or any ideal to try and crash the boards.
Are they out of gas?
I mean, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but playing shorthanded, we're talking about, I mean, they have 8 on the bench, but they've only used 6, so that's for sure a factor.
Letting that one go was Love, and it's pulled down again, this time by Phelan. As right now, the size advantage is definitely present for Mount. It's a held ball here. It'll go back to Old Westbury as Estrella with some good hustle there.
You know, valiant effort, certainly, but when you have 4 out of your 5 starters who have played so far all 25 and a half minutes, it's bound to take a toll at some point.
Not helping. A pattern here. Estrella 5'6", 5'6", Olivier 5'6", Hicks 5'6". For Mount, Cashin's 5'11", Trinkus is 5'10", Aaron LaFaro is 5'10". So it's been tough sledding. It was going to be tough sledding, we knew that, but the question becomes, what can Old Westbury do to find a bit of a higher gear here as the second half continues?
And the flip side of that coin, I mean, we were talking a little bit before the game kicked off, his Frias' shot won't go, ends up out of play, and it'll stick with the Knights. But what we were talking about a little bit is, even though, I mean, Old Westbury has played well given the hand they've been dealt, on the flip side, the Knights have played really well. I mean, this is a game, like you said, you expected them to win handsomely, you expected them to take care of business, and they've done exactly that. They have played well, and they've played exactly how we thought they should play.
LaFaro too hard for Phelan, and that one's going to go out of bounds and go back to Old Westbury. Turnovers for the game, Old Westbury with just 8, Mount with just 7. Also here in the third quarter, Mount for the field is 4 for 12. Old Westbury is 2 for 7. Pineda. Frias on her. Still chasing her, and that goes back for Olivier. Olivier with a step or two in thin air, can't get it to go, and Quinn will secure it. A couple of players look like they're checking in for Mount sooner rather than later. Elizabeth LaFaro has Pineda on her. It came to Quinn at the foul line, can't get the ball to drop in, and not able to finish is Cashin, but she'll go to the line.
Like you said, I mean, as these two subs are going to come into the game, that's just the one. I mean, there's been several advantages, but that's easily the biggest advantage is the Knights just have fresh legs. So even if, even if somebody looks tired, the Knights have the ability just to get them out of the game, get them for a breather, and that's definitely costing Old Westbury.
So Cash into the line here to shoot 2. Makes the first, now has 5 points, has 2 of 7 from the field with 7 rebounds. So she's been among those who have been the biggest tree of the forest today. Can't get the second to go in. Rebound is Bobble, but it's ultimately secured by Phelan. And another second chance here for Mount. Phelan will take the 3, and she buries that one. And that's among the biggest cheers on the bench all day. Mount is now up by as many flavors that Baskin-Robbins offers. Nice idea trying to sneak it was Kama, but could not. And it's brought back quickly by Mount once again. Quick transition, no, can't finish. Phelan can't get that one to drop either. Phelan, we've got a whistle. This one's against Phelan. Wait a minute. Is it? Yes, it was. For a second, I thought it was going back and staying with Mount, but instead it's on Phelan. That is the 5th on Mount with 2:36 left here in the third.
I mean, again, my only real nitpick is the fouls. I mean, that was a loose ball foul. I mean, I respect it. But, again, just props to the Knights we're talking about. They're doing exactly what they should have been doing this whole game. I mean, if you told me that's how this game was going to play out, I probably would have believed you. But some teams, first free throw won't go. Some teams get so caught up in the expectations, they put too much pressure on themselves. That has not been an issue today.
So Rihanna Estrella will stay at the line here. Has 2 points on the day, 1 rebound. Makes the second one. And a timeout's going to be called here by Old Westbury. 2:36 left here in the third. Mount is up by 30. You can get 10% off summer sport camps at Mount St. Mary College. You must type this code to receive this discount. Thanks 2024. To get this deal, visit msmc.edu/sportscamps. Again, msmc.edu/sportscamps. How many camps like those did you attend growing up in California as you were working your way towards becoming a college athlete?
Oh, I attended plenty. And again, like I said, the big thing is just the camaraderie. I've made plenty of friends through baseball camps. It's a good way to get your name out there, and it's a good time just playing the sport you love. And even now, since I've been here, we've hosted a few for children in the area, high schools in the area, looking for the opportunity to play at the next level, and those are always a fantastic time.
Well, we have a moment. I think people find out that Father Greg is taking a bit of a break. I was informed that he had surgery and he won't be back until at least maybe a little bit after the first of the year. Father Greg, get well. We're thinking about you. Can't wait to meet this man because it sounds like he's done just about everything here on campus. People recall he was the interim president at one point.
It was absolutely the heart and soul of this campus. He's always at sporting events, no matter rain or shine. He's always here. He's always the biggest supporter. I've said hi to him several times. He's always good for a conversation. So, Father Greg, get well soon.
Have you ever talked about maybe whether or not Major League Baseball should return to Montreal? He is from Quebec, after all.
I haven't, but that's an interesting point. I mean, there are so many teams displaced now. I feel like Montreal could get a second chance. I mean, obviously the Expos went out rather unfortunately, but with teams like Tampa Bay and Oakland searching for a forever home, there's definitely more opportunities too.
Isn't Vegas going to work for the A's, though?
I don't think it will. Vegas doesn't strike me as a baseball town. I mean, the Raiders have had their set of issues since moving to Vegas. Whether that's a Raider thing or a Vegas thing, we don't know. But
one thing for sure, the Golden Knights have not had issues.
Oh, absolutely.
And this one will go back to Old Westbury with 2:16 left here in the third. Right now, if you're Mount, just get some good work habits and stay focused for the rest of this one. With 2:16 left here in the third, yes, there's still a fourth quarter. The high woman of the castle is Trinkus for Mount. She has 14 points. Aaron LaFaro has 10. Jayla Pineda has 11 for Old Westbury. As this shot is too hard by Comet, doesn't get the rim. It'll be taken back now by Estrella. So Old Westbury just taking a deep breath and just trying to play hard and stay their identity here. Pineda, yes! Jayla Pineda continues to try to outpace the Energizer Bunny. She's got 13.
And like you said earlier, I don't want to imagine where this game would be without Jayla Pineda.
Donato. Phelan. Hughes. From 13 feet. Humpty Dumpty finally falls off the wall. Hughes with 6. Margin back to 30. Largest lead has been 31. Pineda with Donato on her. Donato says hello. Pineda ignores her. Olivier for 3. A bit too far to the right. It'll be taken now by Phelan. Donato. Phelan again. Elizabeth LaFaro. Rotated well. Hot potato. Donato for 3. Can't get it to drop in. Another offensive rebound for Mount. Elizabeth LaFaro can't get it to go. Trying to save it, and doing so is Cashin.
Nice.
And that might be one of the better buckets of the day for Mount, just with how hard they worked and the style points associated with Donato finishing it off after a great save by Cashin.
No notes.
Pineda can't get that one to go, and it'll be taken by Elizabeth LaFaro. Potential the final possession from Mount here in the third.
And again, if they've played at all how they've played this most of this game, they'll just take it down. They will try and take the last shot. I mean, of course, I was forced to eat my words at the end of the first half because they went for the layup, and here still.
I think if the opportunity presents itself, they'll take it. It's
right.
You know, I think right now it is a challenge for Marion Dietz because this is not the first game like this they've had this season. And maybe by playing so well against Yeshiva, they were lulled into a false insecurity against New Paltz, which was the next game afterwards. It's Phelan. Straightaway 3 knocks that one down. Phelan now has 6. Estrella from Beacon. It's going to be short. The margin is 34 after 3. Everybody for Mount has played. Trinkus has 14 points with 8 rebounds. Aaron LaFaro has 10 points and 4 rebounds. Shannon Phelan has 6 points and 10 rebounds. In that third quarter, Mount didn't shoot great, 8 of 22, 36%. But do you still feel like they had good work habits? They stayed focused from start to finish in that third quarter?
For sure. I mean, we were talking about it a little bit. They definitely lost the plot a little bit at the beginning of the quarter with a lot of weird fouls. Old Westbury was in the bonus well with more than halfway left in the quarter. That's the only thing I would nitpick. I mean, don't let the field goal percentage fool you. I mean, they still get their points. These second and third chances have been their best friend. A lot of good looks, and sometimes good looks don't fall, but still, you know, you're up 35, and like you talked about a false insecurity. I mean, you're up 35 with 10 minutes left. Weirder things have happened, but you still have to feel pretty good. But you definitely just can't take your foot off the gas at this point. You've played too well for too long to get sloppy now.
Second chance points are 31-2 in favor of Mount St. Mary. Offensive rebounds, 30-2 in favor of Mount St. Mary. If you're Old Westbury, if you're Bryant Lassiter, is there anything more you can ask of your team right now?
I don't think so. I mean, you're playing, it's a 6-on-12. I mean, they have double the faculty, and the score reflects they have double the faculty. We were talking about at the break. I'm curious as to what's keeping those last 2 off Old Westbury's bench. I'm wondering, I mean, you're down 35. You have put in an incredible effort. You have been dealt a terrible hand. I'm just not sure at this point. I mean, I don't want to say what is there to lose, but I don't think keeping those last 2 on the bench, I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, I see one player who's wearing a shirt over potentially a jersey who may not be playing, and the other player who's not checked in yet with a number on her shirt is Kristen Gallagher. Maybe we'll see her in the fourth, but maybe they're really down to 7 instead of 8, which does compound things even further if that's the case. Again, Old Westbury has not won a game this season, and it has not been pretty on the stat sheet. Donato over for Phelan. Frias. Boom! Kara Frias. Great shot selection, had an open look, and she puts that one in. She has her first bucket of the day. 11 Knights with at least 2 points this afternoon. They're now up by 38. Pineda looking for room. Double. Olivier wants to get closer. Off the window and in. As getting help back up is Kate Hughes.
Like you said, 11 Knights with at least 2 points. When the other team has more players in the scoring column than you have on your roster, that's just a brutal break.
Hughes able to beautifully get that one in. She now has 8. That restores the margin to 38.
And that's what the Knights have been able. That's what the Knights have been able to exploit so well. They've been using their size, they've been using their physicality, and a lot of points in the paint for Mount St. Mary today.
Kama picks up the slack. Can't get it to finish. I think right now Frias was almost trying to help up Kama. I think the Knights know that the win is secure unless something really bizarre happens here. And they call Hughes for steps. So to go back to Old Westbury with 8:20 left in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you want to win with grace. You don't want to run it up, but at the same time, you've played well. You assert your dominance, and the Knights have certainly done that.
Again, the average margin of defeat this season for Old Westbury is 33. They have not had a close game. Pineda can't get it to go, but she is fouled, and this one's on Phelan, and I think, again, not a smart foul. It's not a high percentage shot, even though Pineda's had a pretty good day. So she'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Yeah, if you have to pinpoint one thing the Knights have not done well, it's the needless fouls.
Pineda's short on the first one. She has 13 points, 5 of 12 from the field. Had made her first 3 foul shots of the game. 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 rebound. She has not left the court. Olivier has not either. Estrella has not. Kama has not. Lewis and Hicks have basically split up player number 5 in this. As Frias quickly to Phelan. Now for Hughes, who can't get the ball to cooperate. Frias on the rebound and 1. Kara Frias able to slide through like the utility bill under the door for the mailman. Everybody's still working hard for Mount as Frias will go to the line. She now has 5 points on the day. Make it 6. Looking down here, almost everybody has now scored for Mount. Almost everybody has a bucket. Kama. He's it for Olivier. Olivier. Squirts it around. Pineda. Can't get it to fall. It'll be taken by Phelan. Guglielmo getting ready to come back in for Mount. So are Cashin and Trinkus. And this one's given away to Estrella. Estrella will find a lane to dribble it up and get things set for Old Westbury. Olivier. Pineda. No, this one will not cooperate with her. Tough luck. Donato. Phelan. Donato. Frias. Back to Donato. Thinks about 3, but I think she realizes that Frias might be better qualified, although this one is off the front of the rim. Rebounds put home by Quinn, and I think that's among the least contested offensive rebounds that Mount has had today. The tank in green might be running it empty now.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're the Knights, like Donato, to good look at the top of the key. If you're the Knights, I mean, you've done your job. You don't want to run up the score. You want the offensive foul there. Good draw.
Well, I thought for sure Pineda's going to have a 3-point play. She looks back. She's in disbelief, but I think today's been that kind of a day for her, although she has 14 points. If you ever want to do this job for a living, you'll have a game like this occasionally, but is that one player on the team that's on the very short end that inspires you to keep going, because she is going to keep going too, and that's exactly what Jayla Pineda has done today. It's been fun to watch her work, even though it's been up the current for almost the entirety of this contest. As Trinkus scores again, she now has 16 points. She's 7 of 10 from the field with 8 rebounds. March is up to 44. There's Pineda again. Almost picked off, but Kama's going to maintain possession here. Blinks right, turns left. Can't get that one to go off the window. As Mount gets another chance here. Donato pulls on the brakes and trying to get to the hole was Guglielmo, but she's fouled. This will be against Pineda. That is her third. Team fourth for OW here in the fourth quarter. Or is that third? They switched it quickly. I guess it's the third. And here comes Kristen Gallagher. She'll come in. Shania Hicks is out.
Which means all four starters have still played all 35 minutes.
Guglielmo gets that first one to go in. She now has 7 points, 3 of 8 from the field today, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. They've tried to spread the wealth on that Mount bench today. Phelan has played the most minutes, 17. They might not need a shower when this one is over with. Pineda can't get that one to go in.
And if you're the Knights, just an extremely well-played game on all ends of the ball. I mean, 11 of 12 players have scored. If you can, I mean, I know you're playing against a team with an extremely depleted bench, but if this is a team that can beat you from all angles, with all different players, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, they're just trying to build for the next game. They're just trying to get better with every single passing opportunity. And again, maybe they were loaded with false insecurity with a big one against Yeshiva, and the New Paltz came out and shot out the lights in the third quarter last week.
After back-to-back tough losses, New Paltz, and then you mentioned St. Joe's Long Island on Wednesday. Even if this was the expected outcome, this still has to feel good.
Pineda running back with it quickly. Fake. Beautiful. As the referee on the baseline thought about giving her an and one. Donato lost that out of bounds, but Kama is going to get called for the foul. I thought it went off of Donato, but the foul was called first against Kama. Tough break for her. She's worked hard today, too. It looks like that is the 5th foul, is it? No, it looks like we got a timeout here.
Solid defensive effort there. I think they could have gone without the foul, but still, I mean, that's 4 on Old Westbury. The Knights are 1 away from being in the bonus. If you're Old West, you just, again, it goes for both sides of the ball. We've seen this for both teams. Just limit the fouls. I mean, you know, it's easy to get amped up on defense. It's easy to get your hands up, but there's not a whole lot doing left in this game. There's not really a point.
Well, Maya Kama said the magic word. She picked up a T. That's why at the line to shoot this one is Guglielmo. It's frustrating, but you have to know that in a small building, everybody can hear you.
Yeah,
we know this firsthand.
Referees, umpires, you know, they're not always right, but they're never wrong.
There's no such thing as a right or a wrong. There's just right now.
Yeah.
So the Mount women will take on St. Joe's Brooklyn at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. The men will be back here on Tuesday as well, 8 o'clock against CCNY. So that's what's ahead here. As it's rotated quickly. Trinkus, kick back out. Hot potato again. Donato slows it down. Trinkus. She's not missing much here in the second half. She now has 18 points, 8 of 12 from the field with 10 rebounds. She's first in line for the soda shop. 4:20 is now left.
And the Knights now, if they weren't before, definitely being extra considerate with their ball movement. Plenty of passes, and it's turned into plenty of good looks.
Is there any concern that it becomes mechanical?
I mean, definitely want to spread the love. I mean, you don't want to go straight for the jugular up, almost 50 now. But now's the games like these and points in games like these, now it's the kind of stuff where you can work on trying new things. You know, work on new passes, work on new plays, work on new sets of players. And the Knights, at least on offense, have definitely tried to work on that. Not so much with the substitutions, but definitely the ideas and how to run the offense. There's definitely been some experimenting.
This one's on Trinkus. That is her third. That's the team's second. I think with the T against Kama, that put OW at 5 for the quarter. As Pineda thinks about shooting from the bridge. Instead, got it back to Kama, who's a bit too long, and it's pulled down by Hughes. Frias. Phelan. Guglielmo. Phelan. Hughes. Good rotation again. Frias is extra wide trailer open, and it's a bit too long, but it's pulled down by Guglielmo. Frias off the back foot. Yes, ma'am.
And there's that passing, and there's those second chance points. I've noticed the Knights like to take it from the wing, and they like to get that baseball pass into the corner, which has set up a lot of openings for a cutter getting down to the block.
Everybody's always moving. That's the good news. Estrella for three. Can't get that one to bank in. Pulled down by Trinkus, who has 18. Guglielmo and Aaron LaFaro each have 10. Frias again. No. Phelan with authority. Beautiful dish down low to Hughes. Hughes now has 10. They have been unselfish with the ball most of the day. Pineda is trying to put that one over. Was Gallagher, couldn't make the grade, and so Mount will bring it back with 2.5 left. Frias, quickly. Trinkus. Boom.
No
she can make that one
there.
blindfolded. She's got 20. 20 points and 12 rebounds for Margaret Trinkus right now.
Tell you, anywhere from inside the arc, anywhere from mid-range, it has been bullseyes.
Pineda is doubled. Long pass was cut short. Estrella, no. And she went reaching in on Hughes. And Hughes will go to the line. Bumped into Kate Hughes' father last week. I can't tell you everything, but we know that Kate has had some issues with injuries in recent years. Got a look at one of them. It looked like my wife trying to stuff a turkey.
Ugh.
Yes, it was. It was not something you should see while you're driving or operating heavy machinery, but she's had such a journey here, and she's had a lot of help in getting back to this stage in her life where she can play. And one of the groups that was a big part of the journey was the Footprints group. She actually was part of a blog there. This is about a year to the date, last December, where she shared 5 keys to ACL recovery. 1, the mental toll. And this one's going the other way. 2, be sure to show for your team. 3, time is of the essence. 4, the fear factor. And 5, possibility of a re-tear. So I think regardless of any injury, those are all things in your back of your mind. If you are 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're trying to play a sport you love even at this level, I would imagine that what those things are up there, they're pretty universal no matter what sport or level of NCAA competition you are.
Oh, absolutely.
Count the basket. Pineda continues to work. Yeah, Pineda keeps working hard. That is a third on Frias. Team fourth from out with 1:44 left. Pineda back to the line. Ignore the scoreboard. She's played well today.
Oh, absolutely.
She now has 19 points. 7 of 17 from the field. She's had to shoot because that's just her game right now. She hasn't left the court. Trinkus for 3. Can't get it to go. Hughes pulls it down. Off the window and in. And right now, Kate Hughes appears to be finding her form before that recent injury. Yes, and on some level, things begin to blend together when you have to miss that much time. A year can feel like recent. Pineda can't get that one to drop. And here comes Phelan around the mountain with just over a minute to go. Hughes again. She'll slow the roll. Frias, 50 seconds left. 10 left on the timer. Hughes for 3. A bit short, and it's pulled down by Lewis, as this might be the final cup of coffee for the team in green today. Pineda lets it fly. Might have been partially blocked. Shot clock is not off, so Mount will have to do something with that basketball. If they dribble it out, there'll be about 3 or 4 seconds left. But the Knights will improve to 3-3 on the season. And we'll try to get ready for the next game, and hopefully they will not have a repeat of what happened the last time they were in a situation where they had a big one against Yeshiva and then lost the game to a hot shooting New Paltz team in the second half.
A very good wall-to-wall win. They puts the Knights at 3-1 in conference. Like you said, I mean, it's a statement win. You can't get too comfortable in your spot, but 91 points against any team is resounding.
Old Westbury, when the buzzer sounds, they will officially be 0-8 on the season. And that margin of defeat is going to go up from 33, unfortunately for them. But again, feel good for the effort put forward by all the players that got in today, especially from Jayla Pineda, who finishes with 19 points. Margaret Trinkus for Mount, 20 points on 9 of 14 shooting with 12 rebounds. She was the belle of the ball today, led her team in most minutes played, by the way, with 22. So she didn't want to have to come off as Mount for the game shoots 42%. They were actually 10 of 20 in the fourth quarter, where I think they regained their confidence after that tough loss early this week. And if we're being fair, I think Old Westbury really did run out of gas in that fourth quarter.
Oh, absolutely. And like we talked about, the subs we saw them towards the end, we were wondering why they wouldn't come in earlier. But for the most part, the big 4 starters played all 40 minutes. And no matter who you are, running back and forth for 40 minutes, it takes a number on you for sure.
Scarlett Espinoza did sneak in for a couple of minutes. So, yes, 8 women out, to borrow a term from baseball, but not for a bad reason here. They all got to play. They played hard, but Mount had a security of their entire bench, and their players were their best players today. The Knights get a 91-38 win over the Panthers this afternoon here in Newburgh. Again on Tuesday, Mount women will take on St. Joe's Brooklyn at 6, and the men will take on CCNY at 8. They tell me that lunch is on the way. Very